1,
2,
3, 4, 5,
6.
I don't have the money, is what I used to tell people when they would ask me why I didn't attend college. I think most of us here can agree that as time goes by, things are just getting more expensive, but sometimes we have to put in something to get something in return. One of our current issues today are the high expenses when it comes to pursuing a higher education. Sometimes we don't all have the money to pay for a college or a university, so we end up seeking a loan in order to afford it. The president himself is actually right now debating in the White House about the expenses of higher education. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about student loan debts, what the cost of college universities are, and some of the loans that are available and ways to seek relief from going into high debt. To begin, I want to talk to you a little bit about the cost of college and universities. In the state of Texas, the college and universities can vary greatly depending if you are a resident or non-resident of the state. They can also differentiate in the percentage of the interest rate, and they can also change depending on the career. For example, the University of Houston states in their website, uh.edu, that the tuition fee for a person seeking to specialize in architecture and is a resident can end up paying from $215.21 per credit hour versus a non-resident that would pay $325.21 per credit hour. As you can imagine, a degree that, let's say, for example, would be 60 minimum credit hours can get very expensive and unaffordable to these students. And in order to pay for the school, the student would have to seek for a loan. Most loans, they don't end up having to pay until they are done with their degree. This brings me to my next point, student loans and where we borrow them. To help for tuition and books, the government does have very many options in loans, and the website faned.org tells us that 86.3% of four-year undergraduate students seek a loan, and they end up in an average debt of about $24,651 when they are done with their degree. The most common loan today is the Stafford loan, and their webpage, staffordloan.com, gives us a current rate in the interest of 4.5% for a subsidized loan and 6.8% for an unsubsidized loan. This is a loan that would get borrowed by the student themselves. But there's also loans that the parents can borrow instead of the student. The most common one is Direct Plus loan. Like I said, that's borrowed by the parent, not the student. As you can imagine, adding all these interest rates along with the expenses themselves that are already there can accumulate to become a great sum that would be owed back by the student when they are done with school, and they would owe a lot of money. However, there are a few things that you can seek for help so you can relieve yourself from going into very high debt. If you have no option but to borrow money, you shouldn't just go and get the first loan that comes available to you. You should always make sure that you're getting the best rate possible and the lowest rate possible so you don't get charged very much interest when it comes to paying back all this money. There's also other alternatives like applying for scholarships. Almost every institution offers some sort of scholarship, but there's also requirements that you have to meet. And even though not all scholarships offer you thousands and thousands of dollars, they do offer some money which in the end can help you from not having to borrow so much money in the loan themselves. And for example, if you apply for 3 scholarships and one's $500, the other one's $100, and the other one's $200, that's $800 right there that you would not have to owe back to anybody and that you don't have to pay interest rate on. This is just money that is given to you as long as you meet these requirements. Unfortunately, as time goes by, things are just getting more expensive, and getting an education and furthering your education is becoming more of a necessity than ever before. even though the cost of tuition and books are skyrocketing and they're just getting higher, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't seek to pursue your higher education. It just means that we should go for our best option out there. If you have to borrow a loan like the Stafford loan, then it shouldn't make you regret from pursuing your career or whatever interests you. Instead, we should ask for what we think we can afford and looking for other options to seek some relief from these high debts, like scholarships, or just seeking, again, the best interest rate, the lowest rate possible. Paying for college or university should not have to be a burden to any of us for a future if we seek the best options that are available to us. Does anybody have any questions?